History records wars in numbers, the dead, the missing, the displaced. But behind every war lies a crime, a betrayal hidden in plain sight. This is the story of how a promise of protection became the perfect deception, and how, in the shadows of power, an alliance played the greatest game of all. The victim was not a single person, but an entire nation. At its center was President Adrian Volkov, young, determined, and desperate to protect his people. He believed the alliance he signed with President Jonathan Reigns of the United Republics would shield his country from an inevitable attack. But he was wrong. Tragically wrong. As missiles rained down, the people of Volkov's nation weren't just caught in a war. They were caught in a lie. The obvious suspect was the Iron Federation, their hostile neighbor, long accused of aggression. And at first it made sense. But then, things began to fracture. Promised aid from the alliance was delayed. Weapons arrived, but not the right ones. Intelligence briefings contradicted themselves. And then came the discovery that would unravel everything. Intercepted transmissions traced not to the Iron Federation, but to a secret faction inside the Alliance of Nations itself. Volkov and his closest circle began digging. What they uncovered shocked them. Hidden reports showing that his war was not an accident, but a pattern. The Alliance had done this before. In smaller countries across the globe. In conflicts quietly buried in history. Nations baited into fighting wars they could never win. The motive? To test new weapons. To secure resources. To expand influence. It wasn't about peace. It was about power. But the investigation didn't end there. What came next turned suspicion into horror. Among the classified files was a single document, a list. At first it looked like names of allies. But beside each name, one word appeared, written in cold precision: destabilize. And at the very top of that list, the United Republics, Reigns' own country. The realization was devastating. Volkov wasn't the only victim. Reigns wasn't the mastermind. They were both pawns in a far deeper conspiracy, one orchestrated by shadows inside the alliance itself. At dawn, Volkov went before his people. His words were heavy, trembling not with fear but with rage. "We were told to fight our neighbors," he said. But the real crime was written in silence. Not on the battlefield, but in the shadows of those who claimed to be our protectors. Some called it desperation. Others called it the first crack in the facade of the alliance. But one truth could not be buried. Nations were being sacrificed, not for defense, not for freedom, but for secrets that profited the powerful. The case remains unsolved. The documents remain locked away. The alliance denies everything. But the pattern is there, repeated across time, across borders. So the question remains, was this war truly about protection, or was it the perfect crime committed not with bullets but with betrayal? The shadows of this story remind us that not every crime leaves fingerprints. Some leave only questions. If you want to uncover more stories like this, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell, so you never miss when we unveil the next crime hidden in plain sight.